before anyone can believe in you, you've really got to believe in yourself. So working on your self-confidence, working on how you will navigate certain situations and having the strength to do that. So to really believe in your intuition and how you feel in a situation. If you feel something is wrong, 9 times out of 10, it probably is. So my name's Harmony Murphy. I work as head of retail UKI for Google within the GCS org, which is Google Customer Solutions. I've been at Google for about 6 months. Prior to that, I was at eBay. I was the general manager for the advertising org in the UK. And I've very much always been interested in media and advertising and ways to connect to the customer and also help brands grow and help them with their business objectives. My match was a bright young lady called Manel, absolutely fantastic. And we spoke a lot about whether it was like well-being or making sure that there was balance between, for Manel, it was her study and like downtime balance. And for me, it would have been my work-life balance. And there was amazing correlation between both of us. And we were able, through the coaching side of things, to put mechanisms into place. What I really, really learned was on the coaching side, like the open questioning, the paraphrasing, how really powerful that is. And sometimes prior to Circl, I felt that I was really listening to people. But actually, after the Circl experience, I learned active listening in more depth. And I felt that in one-to-ones with my team and also bringing those skills into Google, I was a lot more enriched as a leader. I was born and brought up in London. I've recently moved to Dublin. So around about 6 months ago, which means I've relocated for the job, which has been a bit of an adjustment. I've brought my dogs with me. So I've got a Chihuahua called Harry, who's 6 years old, and a Pomeranian called Richie, who's 2 years old. I absolutely love nature, walking, being outdoors, trekking. I've got a trip to Everest booked. And I think a lot of that is that work-life balance, like just being out in the open and your thoughts can just like be with nature and you're not constricted to your desk. So for me, that's super important. I'm really creative. I play like 5 instruments. I went to Trinity Conservatoire. I'm trained in opera, piano, saxophone, just as an example. And I love to have that element of like pure structure and then the creative side, like thinking outside the box as well. I started playing musical instruments or writing notes of music when I was only 3 years old. So from a very young age, people had said that I was advanced in my IQ. And music for me, I started training from the age of 4. I passed my grade 1 with a distinction. I couldn't even reach the sustain pedal, but like that gave me structure. And music is actually highly mathematical. You've got semi-quavers, quavers. Like the structure of music is mathematical, but also the practice. That gave me a lot of structure in my life, I suppose, and helped keep me on track. It was interesting because when I left school, I did get scholarships to go to certain universities and very, very good ones, but I did turn them down. And I decided that for me, I wanted to go straight into the world of work. And what really gave me that flavor and why I'm so involved and it's so close to my heart with young leaders or people from low socioeconomic backgrounds wanting to get into work would be that for me, it was Janie Orr. She's one of the chief executives at EMI Foundation. And she sponsored a lot of my bursaries for musical instruments and gave me a work placement at EMI when I was 15 or 16 years old as work experience. And when I saw that corporate environment and I saw how she operated, that unlocked a world for me. And I thought, I want that. Throughout my career, I almost learn every single day. And my career has not been linear. So there's been times, and I'm not going to go into the specifics of the role or the company, but where I've taken side steps in my career, or I've gone into a job role which was either out of my comfort zone because I was very, very stretched, or it was out of my comfort zone because it wasn't satisfying for me. But then it's ways that I've looked to either build upon that and learn knowledge and get that really quickly and be in front of the right people who can help me, and actively ask for support. It's okay to ask for support. And then on the other side, if I'm not been satisfied, how can I find other projects? How can I, go outside of the box to find my satisfaction from a role or a company without just complaining about it? And then the other thing would be resilience. So throughout my career, having to have a lot of resilience in every single role to a degree that I've been in. And whether that's resilience of learning something new, so moving from like a print role to a more digital programmatic role, so having to learn really, really quickly what are the ropes of programmatic, or whether that's some of the unconscious biases around young female leaders and having to cut through that almost sometimes on a daily basis and think, okay, this is where I am thick-skinned and I don't let it get to me, but also this is where I call it out, because I think that is important as well. I think one of the most important things is having self-belief, first of all. Before anyone can believe in you, you've really got to believe in yourself. So working on your self-confidence, working on how you will navigate certain situations and having the strength to do that. So to really believe in your intuition and how you feel in a situation. If you feel something is wrong, 9 times out of 10, it probably is. And then it's assessing how do you navigate that. And as I mentioned before, is it something you kind of are thick-skinned about, or you call out because other people may be suffering the same thing and you want to stop certain difficult situations in their tracks? So that would be the self-confidence piece. The next one would be the network piece. So really making sure that you've got a strong network around you. And when I mean strong network, I mean on all levels. So you've got allies, so people who can ally around you and support you when needed. You've got mentors and coaches that you can really open up to. The mentor being able to talk more about their experience, and the coach being able to strengthen your muscle in certain ways that you need. So very, very different. And then at the same time, and this is one thing that was interesting for me, when I went into some of these corporates, coming from a very low socioeconomic background myself, hearing people maybe talking about a ski trip they went on when they were younger, or like certain things like this. And I thought, oh, how do I integrate into that? So making sure that, yes, on the business side, you have the support, but on the social side, you have a network at work as well, where you feel comfortable and you can go to lunch and you can step out of, okay, these are the emails I'm sending, and step more into how was your day and more of the colloquial side of things. And I think that's highly important. So one of the things that women in the workplace, or younger women, really have to contend with is a lot of unconscious bias and subconscious, unfortunately. And a lot of the time that can be an education piece. So really like building allies and talking about openly how younger women sometimes find it in the workplace, to break down some of those barriers and bring a lot more awareness. I touched on a couple of times allyship. So making sure that it's not just the younger woman talking up, but there's a network around which can protect and help and advise the younger woman as well. And then also hearing from, seasoned leaders, so women who have been around for a while in the industry, and them talking openly about some of the challenges that they faced, because these challenges still go on today. It's something step by step that has been broken down, but they're still very much prevalent in today's society, unfortunately. But we have taken massive strides, and there is more awareness been driven for younger women and women in general, and also people from different backgrounds in the workplace. We have come a long way in the industry, and companies are actively looking into their DEI policies, their hiring, and they're looking at it from the core inside out. So not just looking at it, a lot of companies are not just looking at it as what I would say is a whitewash, but they're looking in the core and the essence and their values, and how they can ensure that they are hiring more diversely and also retaining the talent once the talent is in. And why is that so amazing? Because diversity and hearing from different backgrounds is about pulling in diverse opinions, diverse points of views, different perspectives, which really, really, really help build an organization. What I always say is you don't want to carbon copy. You don't want everyone the same, because then your outcomes are going to be pretty similar. But if you're coming in with your different experience, your different perspective, cultures, neurodiversity, for instance, you're adding to the cake a different different part of that mix, and then the end product is absolutely delicious. Little analogy for you there. So I think that's one thing. And then I think the next thing, and this is specifically for advertising, actually, the diversity within advertising, in adverts, in the way that brands are putting different diversification when it comes to the media that they are showing. And I think that's, again, echoing what is going on within corporate companies when it comes to the hiring and retention piece and ensuring there's diversity inside out. So there has been a lot of change. There's also been change in the fact that before, people didn't talk openly about some of the challenges faced. It was a bit of a taboo, but now you've got, whether it's panels, you've got events, you've got people been hired to head up D&I, where there's awareness been driven, but there's also experience, perspectives, people openly talking about it and their journeys, which will then help other people to understand more, but also to empower other people to speak out against theirs as well.